Live. All right. We are officially recording, so I want to welcome you all to Real Talk with Brooke. This is my second session of Real Talk with Brooke, where we are just having real talk to debunk myths, debunk the lies, all the fun, crazy
hmm
in our society about health that don't serve us and make us confused and wonder what's wrong with us all the time. I don't know if you relate to that, but that's has been me for way too many years until I truly learned so much more in the last 11 years being a health advocate and a wellness coach. Um, so I would definitely want to welcome you all to Real Talk with Brooke. I'm so glad you are all here today. If you've ever felt overwhelmed walking through the grocery store or confused by what's really healthy, you're definitely not alone. The
hmm
truth is, um, the food industry is a marketing machine. And today, I want to help you to see through the smoke and mirrors so you can feel empowered and make the best choices for you and your family. So with that, I want to kind of start off by there's a few myths that I want to kind of start talking about and bringing up and making it create some awareness around it. Um, if you've been in the grocery store at all in the last couple of years, you keep seeing net carbs everywhere, right?
hmm
Have you ever wondered, is this a real thing? Like this thing has 30 grams of carbs, but yet it's telling me it's 2 grams net carbs. Is that true? Does that actually work? I'm going to tell you where net carbs came from to help you to understand where it came from and why I personally do not look at net carbs and do not count net carbs at all. Okay. So first off, because I really want this to be kind of an open dialogue and communication, and feel free to ask questions. Use the chat if you can't come off mute. Um, Anybody know where net carbs originated from? Where did it come from? Does anybody know?
No. Mm-mm.
No. Okay. So let's give anybody else. Carmen, you're off mute, so I wasn't sure if you wanted to say something, sweetie.
Oh, no. And I have no idea.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm excited to tell you. I'm excited to tell you, but at the same time, you may not be excited to learn. So, um, net carbs is actually what aided by the food manufacturing companies. It literally came from the food manufacturing companies with the whole low carb phase and fads and the keto this and the keto that and the low carb this and low carb that. Our food manufacturers, and you can do the research, Google it, do your research, dig into where did they come from. The food manufacturers decided that, oh, well, fiber and sugar alcohols don't affect your blood sugar like other carbs do. So we can subtract that from the total carb count and make a net carb to make our product more appealing to those who are counting carbs and trying to be low carb or whatever.
hmm Wow.
So the food industry created this marketing scheme to sell more to the low carb dieters, the keto dieters, people who are trying to count carbs and monitor that. Does it work? Does counting net carbs make a difference? No. No, it doesn't. All carbs matter. All carbs count. Why are we
hmm
only counting the net carbs? Because a food manufacturer said that these other ones don't affect your blood sugar the same? We need carbs and we need good carbs, absolutely. But not counting the ones that don't affect your blood sugar the same as simple carbs, that what is that doing? This is defeating the whole purpose. You're trying to ignore carbs that actually do matter and ignoring carbs that you actually are getting. I am not a fan of net carbs. I don't encourage it. I actually discourage it, if you can't tell, counting net carbs, because it truly is just a marketing ploy. Net carbs are not recognized by the American Diabetes Association or by the FDA. So, I want to throw that out there and find out if anybody has any other questions or clarity questions on net carbs before I move on to a couple of other myths and things that I want to bust. All right. So. We all know now about net carbs. It sounds healthy when you first look at it, but
Yeah, but it's not.
just that marketing gimmick. So be careful of those. Actually look at the total carbs. They do matter. It does make a difference. So still be watching those. Um, the second one that I want to bring up because I see this all the time is the new cauliflower illusion, as I'm going to call it. Okay. How many of us seen all the different cauliflower-based products that are in the grocery stores now?
Yeah.
There's a
A
lot.
lot.
There's a lot. Okay. Have you ever wondered, or well, the marketing of it is it's cauliflower, so it's healthy, healthy cauliflower.
Yep.
Well, a lot of the cauliflower-based products aren't actually healthy. They really aren't. If you really start looking at it and diving into it, it's just the same type of thing loaded. Is
Can
that
you
the
say that
Milton's one? Is that the Milton?
where the
It,
Milton's roasted vegetable cauliflower crusts?
yeah. So with that, I always encourage look at the ingredients.
Huh?
Look at the actual nutrition facts on them. Yes, cauliflower can be everything, and cauliflower can do lots of things. I have had cauliflower mash, which is basically a faux mashed potato that's made out of cauliflower, and it is delicious. I've had faux potato salad using cauliflower, and it is delicious. I've
Hmm.
had even cauliflower turned into stuffing, and it is delicious. Of course, pizza crust and
Yeah.
there's little sandwich thins. There's a whole bunch of other things that are healthy. But I just want to encourage you is to make sure you flip the package over.
Mhm.
And most of these still have a lot of the same ingredients as the regular versions, just with a little cauliflower tossed in. So they can slap that healthy
Ah,
label on it. It gets
okay.
you to go, it's cauliflower, it's healthy. This will be great. Is it a better choice? Maybe.
Mm,
Maybe. Most of it is not that much of a better choice.
yeah.
Um, I personally, if you want a good recommendation of a cauliflower pizza crust or a sandwich thin, my personal favorite that I go to, the brand is called Outer Aisle. And I'm sorry to say that's hard to find in stores. Costco used to carry them. Fred Meyer's used to carry them. I have not been able to find them in either of those stores for a while. So now I actually bulk order them online directly through Outer Aisle themselves. And I
Okay.
just stock my freezer. My kids like them. We'll do the cauliflower pizza crust and make individual pizzas for the whole family. The sandwich thins, I use them all the time in place of hamburger buns or bread or anything like that. They are literally basically cauliflower eggs and Parmesan. It's pretty much, and maybe some seasonings, depending upon the different flavors. They have a couple different flavors. But basically, look at the ingredients, really. Look at the nutrition
Okay.
facts. You'll be able to know if it's cauliflower, the carbs are going to be low, right? The cauliflower is going to, the carbohydrates will be low. If the carbohydrates are still pretty high and the fat is pretty high, that's another thing to be looking at too. It's still going to be pretty high.
Hmm.
Um,
Throwing those back in the freezer.
Throw them back in the, yeah, yep.
Yep.
There's a lot of them out there that people are like, oh, this is great. There's
My God, though.
Milton's has one. There's Power that is better-ish, but still, in my opinion,
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't use it. There used to be a brand called Cauliflower, like Cali, like California, Cauliflower, but are now out of business. They were my go-to for a long time, but they're now out of business, um, which really was sad, but I was glad to find Outer Aisle. All right, so any other questions about the cauliflower? And again, we're just opening up. There's probably going to be
Yeah.
tons of questions. There's a lot more that we can be saying, but I'm just opening up this conversation a little bit. Any questions, thoughts, comments about the cauliflower illusion that's out there in the marketing for world?
Yeah. It's not an illusion anymore to me. I know now.
Yeah, it's pretty sad how desperate the food and manufacturer and the food industry has become to try to gather the craze of the cauliflower, the craze of the keto, the low carb, the this, and that.
Mhm.
They really do. They're trying everything to continue to keep you addicted to foods and think that you're making healthier choices, but then it just makes you more frustrated
Yeah.
and feeling defeated and all the things. Um, which leads me to my next topic.
Mhm.
Okay, the protein marketing lies. This is the next one I'm going to talk about. It's the protein marketing lies. Okay. We've all again been to the store and you see the protein bars or the protein
Mhm.
shakes or the protein this or high protein. Okay, a lot of it is a marketing label. It's not, it might have some protein in it and it might be higher protein than their original, but is it truly what and this is kind of what I look at when I'm looking at something and I want to make sure that it is legit, a protein bar, a protein shake, a protein whatever.
Mhm.
I want to look at the nutrition label. And here's a little tip that I do. If the protein is equal to the highest or highest of the macros. So when you're looking at macros, you're looking at fat, carbs, and protein. Those are the three. So of those three, if the protein is equal to or highest of all three of those, then I would say it's probably legit. I would probably call that a protein bar or protein shake or something that is high protein.
Mhm.
But if the fat or the carbs are higher quantity than the protein, I would not call it a protein bar. Whichever is the highest, I would call it that. Carb bar, fat bar, you fill in the blank. I hope that makes I
Uh-huh.
think it sounds funny to me, but it's true. It's like call it for what it is. But look at the nutrition label. We don't have to be like experts on it, but just looking at that. What I really want to encourage is trying to have balanced nutrition. So when you're balancing nutrition, you want to have of your calories that you're consuming, you want it to be really balanced. Carbs and protein, about 35% of your calories are coming from that and about 30% from your fat. That
Mhm.
balanced nutrition, your body knows what to do with that. Your body's now getting the nutrition, getting the macros that it needs to be able to work better and more efficiently. So, um, and I've literally seen, I had this happen a few months back. It was labeled protein bar on the label, and I flipped it over, and literally had 5 grams of protein and 28 grams of carbs,
Whoa.
and it was labeled protein bar. So that was a really like I don't look at all of those things a lot, but it is just, it's that was really just a glorified candy bar with a better marketing team.
Right. And maybe good for somebody that's running marathons or, do you know what I mean?
Eh,
Because they kind of need that, I don't know, that carb.
even that I would question because when they're running marathons, yeah, they need the calories. Yeah, they need energy, but they still need balanced nutrition to keep their energy
Hmm.
stable. If you have high carbs and
Hmm.
not low protein, you're going to peter out your energy. Because
Okay.
most of the carbs are a lot faster to burn
Hmm.
than the protein. Protein's going to take longer to burn. Fiber is going to take longer to burn. But
Hmm.
anyways. Yeah,
Okay.
even
That
marathon
makes
runners
sense.
and that sort of thing, it looks different for them. So, but all right. So that's definitely something just to, when there's a lot of convenient things at the store that are marketed as such, just be careful. Be careful what you're grabbing and be looking. All right. Any other questions about
Mm-mm.
the protein marketing lies?
No, the fat bars.
The fat bars, the carb bars.
Uh-huh.
Um, all right. So just a little bit about just like a healthy snack. Where this is one thing that also I hear a lot, and I was even caught with this too. Nuts are a healthy snack, right? In moderation, absolutely. I will completely agree with that. But how many of us will grab a handful after handful after handful of nuts thinking that it's a good healthy snack? That was me.
Yeah, me too.
Handful after handful after handful. And now I can't remember. I looked at my peanut butter earlier, which I do completely all natural peanut butter. There's no added anything. It's literally just ground up peanut butter, peanuts. And I can't remember it now, but it was mm, I won't remember it, but I have to Google it probably. Um, but the fat was significantly higher than the protein. And I'm
Yeah.
just going to guess off the top of my head because I did look at it just earlier. I want to say it was like 18 grams of fat per serving to 9 grams of protein.
Mhm.
So, yes, they have protein, but they have way more fat than they have protein. So, being really careful that, yes, nuts can be a great healthy snack in moderation,
Mhm.
right? And a handful is probably more than one serving. So a handful is probably two or three actual servings of nuts. So that's the other thing just to kind of be mindful of if you're grabbing nuts. I'm not just trying to discourage you from grabbing some nuts. What I'm trying to do is be mindful of how many and how often.
Yeah.
Because the other thing is fats are great, but fat is really easy for your body to burn. And for each gram of fat, it produces 9 calories. So that it produces a lot more calories for fat than protein does or
Okay.
carbohydrates. So it's because they're higher in fat, they're going to have be also be higher in calories. And we don't, I don't know about you all, but I never really truly weighed out or measured out. Make
Yeah.
sure I only had one serving of it. It was more than one serving for sure.
Hmm.
So it can definitely, it's very calorie dense and can be very easy to overdo. Okay. So just being mindful of like nuts. That was the one like healthy snack thing that I wanted to be create some awareness around. Um, I do the nut thing all the time, and I don't want to mispronounce her name. Is it Sarmenta? I probably am totally butchering your name. I'm so sorry. Um, Susanna. Okay, sorry, Susanna. Thank you. She said that I do the nut all the time. Yes, I assume I'm doing a good thing. LOL. So
Mhm.
don't eat them all in one sitting. I was doing the same thing. Susan said this same
Mhm.
thing. Yeah, awesome. Okay. Um, so it's definitely even I would even find that I would go have grab a handful here and then I come back later and grab another handful and then I come like me and my husband both realized that we would literally eat like handful after handful throughout the day of mixed nuts. We both decided like wow, like we're consuming way too many nuts, and especially when we started really realizing that they're more higher in fat than protein. Like this isn't really good for us. So we just stopped buying the mixed nuts completely because we both tended to grab a handful here and a handful there. And by the end of the day, we're having 5 or 6 handfuls of nuts as a quick snack, which adds up way, way, way too much.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else about the nuts before the last thing is just talking about, the so many processed food conveniences that are marketed as healthy, right? There's so many out there. We all use processed foods. Let's be real. It is about, the convenience of it. And there's nothing wrong with having convenient, healthy food, but it's being aware of what are you choosing? And what are your other options?
Mhm.
And there are lots of options out there. I have a lot of resources for options as well. And most people are not going to want to hear this, but if you want to stick with good, clean nutrition, you're going to want to go someplace where that's what they have. Locally here in the Salem area, we have Life Source. There's Whole Foods, there's Trader Joe's, different places like that that really have trusted brands that are clean nutrition. Um, do encourage that anytime that you are using something that's loaded with artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners,
Mhm.
your body doesn't really know what to do with a lot of that stuff, which also can create more inflammation. And that can go into a whole nother thing too, is really recognizing how much our bodies react to a lot of the stuff that's in some of that convenient stuff that's cheaper. And the cheaper it is, the more artificial it is,
Right.
right?
Right.
So um, just being definitely aware of that and um, again, learning to read the labels, read the ingredients,
Mhm.
and trying to stick with clean nutrition, your body's gonna be able to do more with it. And if your body can do more with it, then your body can actually heal from the inside out.
Yeah.
Justine, touching on oils, is there a difference between palm oil and organic palm oil? Well, um, organic is obviously the difference there, but I'm not, I use olive oil. Olive oil is the top oil that is highly recommended. That's what I personally use. Some people can't use olive oil. Um, I haven't done a ton of research into palm oil, so I can't tell you a lot about palm oil. So just to be perfectly clear, I'm never going to fluff answers or try to give you something that I don't know. I don't know enough about palm oil to truly answer that, Justine, other than the obvious one of organic versus not organic. Organic means that they're supposedly not using any pesticides or herbicides or any of the sprays and the chemicals on it. Yes, there is a lot of oils and processed foods that are bad for you. Yeah. The seed oils is the ones that is really a big one. Anything that that's the other thing to look at. Trans fats will also tell you a lot. If they're high in trans fats, it's also something you probably want to avoid. Um,
Hmm.
I can definitely give you some ideas. We don't have enough time today potentially, but I don't do a lot of processed um store-bought stuff because I don't trust it. On that note, a quick little story recently, off topic of the oils, but just the processed stuff from the store. Um, Probably they're cheap, Diana. So Diana just asked in the chat if wondering if restaurants fry in sea oil, canola oil, seed oil, whatever's cheap. A lot of restaurants are going with whatever's cheap and easily accessible. But I want to tell you a quick story just about like the preservatives and artificial stuff. So, in my home, me and three of my four kids are gluten free. And my oldest daughter and my husband are not. And so I, buy them just store-bought bread for my husband and my oldest daughter. Well, the bread that I bought from Costco was actually left on the counter for a few weeks. Okay. I had totally expected it to be moldy and be goat food by the time we really realized it, right? I'm going to tell you that there was no mold. It was still soft and it tasted fine. That kind of scared me. We're talking weeks on the counter, not frozen, not nothing. And it was totally fine. But then compare that to my other three kiddos. I actually make homemade gluten-free bread for them. All homemade from scratch. Like I literally grind my own oatmeal, all that sort of thing for oat flour. 5 days. 5 days is moldy if it's
Hmm.
not frozen. So that is that just that awareness. I just want to share that story with you guys too, because the preservatives, the artificial ingredients, all the things that they're putting in the foods that we buy that we think that are healthy, again, our bodies don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Our bodies are fighting all this junk. So I always ask myself, what can I do to make the food I eat cleaner, less processed? And again, convenience trumps, let's be real, but are there options where I can get clean, healthy, convenient things? There
Mhm.
are. Justine, we usually buy Grandma Sycamore because it doesn't have the mold inhibitors like most breads. We also buy locally made breads. Yes, great job, Justine. I'm not familiar with the Grandma Sycamore, so I'll have to look into that. But yeah, it's kind of scary though, all the things in there. And then the shelf lives of things. That's the other thing you can always look at. What's the expiration date of things? If the expiration date is more than just, you know, a few weeks or a few months, there's a whole bunch of artificial preservatives and different things in there. It's just insane to me how many of those things have a long, long shelf life. And we're used to it. That's the other scary part. I don't know about you all, but so many people are used to having a long shelf life of things.
Yeah.
So yeah. So definitely the inflammation, the gut issues, the low energy often trace back to those artificial ingredients, the preservatives, all that sort of thing. So doing your best to have the clean nutrition, And and if you need some motivation, I did a workshop a couple weeks ago about motivation. That might help you if you missed that. Um, I think that was really, I felt it was helpful for me, so I hope it was helpful for others. Um, but really, in a nutshell, you don't have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. Justine added not to mention microplastics. Yes, there's so much. I mean, again, I'm kind of opening Pandora's box here with just starting this conversation. I knew this was not going to like dig into everything. It was just kind of opening up that conversation for more conversations in the future. That's what this is all about is, let's dig in, let's do some research together, let's have the conversation, let's create more awareness, to what can we do? That's the question I'm always asking myself and I ask my clients, okay, well, instead of we're stuck on what we can't do, I don't know, what can you do? What is something you can do to empower yourself to make a different choice?
Yeah.
So, but it's never about being perfect, but it's what's one thing, one little thing. It's about the millimeters that add up that do make a difference.
The small changes.
All the small changes, yeah. So when you become aware of what's actually in your food and what is actually the marketing this is designed to trick you, you can really start to make better choices and to start to really support your energy, your digestion, your mood, your body. Clean, balanced food isn't about being restrictive. It's just really about giving your body what it knows how to use. So then your body isn't fighting off the chemicals and it can really start to heal from the inside out and you can start to feel great. Awesome. Thank you, Justine. She said yes for sure in the chat. So, with that, that's kind of what I had to share today. Is there any other questions or anything?
No, I don't think so. I was thinking of, um, I had a question, but now I can't remember. I should have wrote it down while I had a chance. But definitely those cauliflower crusts are going to my sister-in-law because she loves them. I've never had them. I bought them. They're in the freezer. So now I know. Absolutely.
There's a lot of things out there that are just,
Yeah.
it makes me cringe, and I hate that, but it does. It makes me cringe, and
Mhm.
unless somebody's asking me for my opinion, I'm not going to share it because nobody likes to be told that don't eat that. That's not good. That's false. That's fake. But
It's
you're
so good
here,
to
so
know those things. It's great to know those things so we can make those better choices.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
that's the goal of what I'm creating here is just to create more awareness, open up conversations, open up awareness. And there's so many more conversations and so many more questions that have already been asked that I'm going to be diving into all sorts of different topics. So with that, if this stirred anything more into you today, and just you have more questions or you have other questions, feel free. You can reach out to me. You can throw it in the group, the Real Talk with Brooke. I have lots of resources, lots of tools, and a huge community where we can really together, we can be stronger together and take that next step, whether it's reading the labels, meal ideas, knowing where to start, working on the mental, which is the biggest piece, in my opinion. I mean, knowing what to eat is half the battle, is not even half the battle. It's why we choose it, even if we know we shouldn't. And that's really where my specialties lie into is the mental, the emotional, the habits, and creating new ones. So I'm here to answer questions and we'll be doing more of these workshops. So thank you all for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm super excited to have you all here. Anything else? I seen Diana, you just came off mute.
I'm not crying. I'm just yawning because I've had a couple days of bad food.
Oh no.
I'm just like,
You're quite welcome, Justine. Thank you for being here, Justine. I hope this was helpful.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yeah, I can really tell. Thank you, Brooke. I reached out to Brooke at coffee the other morning. I'm like, I need some help here. And actually, I was going to go buy my favorite cauliflower crust pizza to have it on hand because when my sweetheart leaves on a trip, then I gotta go nuts with food.
Oh.
But then, she's like, oh, well, we talked about that. And I've read the ingredients. I'm like, okay, I'm justifying this. It tastes really good, but I'm justifying it. So
Mhm.
for me, it's just planning ahead. So I have a plan
Mhm.
instead of, oh, I can eat whatever I want and no.
Right. So do you, when you know that your honey is going away, you start planning for the bad things that you're going to eat? Because I was doing that too. It's like
See,
it's not bad, but
I know I'm not crazy. And I last couple times I'm like, what is going on
yeah.
with my head here?
Mhm.
Yes, I'm missing him. And
Mhm.
so there's that, you know,
Yeah.
that like I'm worrying, a little bit. I'm not worrying, but it's something switches in my brain. And Brooke, you were talking about that.
Yep.
So
Yep. Yeah. Well, and and I've talked about this a few different times on different reels, and I think in the page, I put the reel there, the chaos to calm. Because when he's gone, even though you may not feel stress on the outside, there is a level of stress. And so instead of using your frontal cortex, your body automatically goes into using your amygdala.
Yeah,
And the
survival.
amygdala creates the auto response. So you're an
Yeah,
autopilot and you're
I
going to
know.
have everything easy, everything comfort, everything, all those things because of your stress and you're an autopilot. So really the key is to help yourself to shift from autopilot back to the frontal cortex. And it's
Yeah,
easy
thinking.
as
Yeah.
taking some deep breaths and allowing yourself to shift back to using your frontal cortex and not staying in that fight or flight freeze stress mode
Yeah.
I
and
mean,
recognizing it.
I bought potato chips yesterday, Brooke. I don't do that. I took them up
After
to
we talked, you
yes. Yes, and but I was still in that, oh, I have this,
yeah,
and for me, I feel like, oh, I have 4 days of freedom. And so in my brain, and not that I feel restricted because Mark and I,
right.
we eat together and, we're the same mind most of the time.
Mhm.
And so I was like, you planned for that, you know. But then I remember a year ago, my mom died and was dying, and we were all in the apartment. There was a couple nights where I just ate a bowl of potato chips and ranch dip for dinner. I'm like, I felt terrible. But in the moment, I'm like, it's that
Yeah.
stress and grief response
Mhm.
to, yeah.
Yep,
Absolutely it is.
absolutely. And and so again, it's interesting. Like you were totally aware of it. We talked about
Yeah.
it yesterday morning. You were
Yeah.
aware you were
And
doing
I
it
I still did it anyway. Yeah,
right.
I had a great dinner. My brother-in-law cooked dinner. It was leftovers, and he made salad and grilled chicken, and so it was great. But I'm like, I plan to do that. So, uh, then again, donuts showed up today from my dad, the cherry donuts, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're on the counter. I didn't eat one this time.
Mhm.
Yep.
Good.
Reach for the fresh raspberries from my sister's garden.
And it is one is yes, planning, but also
Yeah.
make deciding before he leaves that this is how you
Oh,
want to feel and this is what you want to be on the other side of him coming back.
yeah.
Making that decision, then you're more likely to follow through with the plan. Because
Yeah.
if you just have a plan and you don't have a decision with it, then you're way less likely to follow through. Justine, donuts are my weakness. Absolutely. Like if it was me, Justine, and I
Yeah.
had donuts on the counter, I would be like, garbage
Yeah.
or regifting. Okay, they cannot stay on the counter for me.
Oh,
Well, and these aren't the kinds that are, I mean, these are from Easy Orchards. They're cherry donuts. So they're so good. But no,
well,
it's, they're sitting on the counter and they're gonna go somewhere else, not inside of me. So
yeah, good.
Yeah.
no, I have been so tired in the afternoons, and before previously I was like, I have plenty of energy. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yep.
Mhm.
Very much
Bad
so.
food. Okay.
Very much so. And one last comment I'll make, and then I do have to get running, is kind of talking about like the donuts and the different things and eating them. And take this, don't get offended by this, but when you're choosing to eat the things that you know is garbage, is junk, you're treating your body like a garbage disposal. Don't do that. Don't do that. So, right, and then you have to get your body out of, or your brain out of the autopilot amygdala back to the frontal
Hmm.
cortex.
Hmm.
And some deep breaths. Again, I did a whole reel about from
Okay.
chaos to calm.
I'll go look it up.
It's on my private page, but then also in this group as well, the chaos to
Oh,
calm.
okay. Okay.
Just getting some deep breaths to help shift back to the frontal cortex will help you to be in control, where that's your logical thinking, that is your
Hmm.
reasoning thinking. But when you are in that stress response, it's the automatics, the amygdala. And so the amygdala is in control to do everything it can to alleviate any extra stress or any extra thinking. What's easiest, what's
Hmm.
simplest, what's the
Hmm.
autopilot, the comfort foods, all those things. And you think
Hmm.
you're consciously choosing it when you're not.
Right.
You're not. It's the autopilot and the amygdala. So,
Okay. I really appreciate how you explain that again,
hmm
because now that I think about it, it's like, oh, this is why it's kind of like it's tricking yourself. Like it's a I go to that easy because it's stress free.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I got to turn that around and go, oh, I'm going to be so enthusiastic about creating this delicious meal from my garden, with the things I have already.
Yeah.
Well, and
Uh,
you're going to that stress-free thing because you're already stressed.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the thing is actually to recognize that you're already stressed. So you
Yeah.
go, oh, let me switch that. You
Yeah.
got to switch. Our bodies are not designed to be in a stress state all the time. And let's be real, our society, we're in a stress state
Mm-hmm.
98% of the time, if not more.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And our bodies are not designed to do that and be in that autopilot, that stress response all the time. So recognizing it, shifting from the amygdala back to the frontal cortex will allow you to actually, because you can be enthusiastic as you want to about the garden dinner.
Right.
If you're
Right.
still in the stress mode, you're still going to pick what's left the least stressful. You're still like, it doesn't matter. You have to get switched out of the
Yeah. Okay.
stress response and back into using the frontal cortex to then actually follow through on that plan, right? So that's the decision, making sure you're not stressed, so you can follow through on the plan. Because if you're constantly on the autopilot, you're never going to follow through on your plan. Because you're always going to go to what's easiest, what's no stress, what's going to be comforting, what's going to make me feel good for the moment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Not potato chips.
Not
Yeah.
potato chips.
potato chips.
It'll help you for a moment, but
The
not.
moment. Yeah.
So, and Justine asked in the chat, how do I watch your other videos? There is a full Facebook page called Real Talk with Brooke, REAL, Real Talk with Brooke. And if you don't have it, Justine, let me see. I can probably grab the link to it and put it in the chat for you so you can grab that. And you can also find me on Facebook. I'm pretty easy to find typically. Um, and yeah, find it through there too. Let's see here. Copy link. There it is. All right, I'm putting in the chat. This is the link to the Facebook group, right? The group. Yes. I want to make sure it wasn't the event versus the group. There you go. So hopefully that works for you, Justine. It's a public group. It's open to anybody. So if you know anybody else who any of these videos or anything like that would be helpful for, it's open for everybody. It's literally I want to just have value, answer questions, have value for anybody who is looking to create some clarity when it comes to their health journey. So thank you all for being here. I do have to get
Thank
running.
you, Brooke.
Appreciate you all. I will put
Thank you,
the
Brooke.
recording as well, will be in the group here after a bit. Okay. All right, ladies. Thank you so much again. Appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.